We know not everyone can keep up with all the news from the week, and that's why CBS News Colorado has gathered stories that topped our website from the last 5 days. Here's a look at some of the stories that garnered the most interest on CBSColorado.com. After reaching about 579 acres, firefighters finally contained the quarry fire burning in Jefferson County this week. But for days last week, we heard from fire officials about how our state was shuffling resources to tackle multiple fires burning more than 10,000 combined acres among the Alexander Mountain Fire and the Stone Canyon Fire all along the Front Range. 155 firefighters finally arrived to help the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office battling the quarry fire, which was double the amount they had the day before. Your reporter in Jefferson County, Karen Morfitt, followed the quarry fire all last week and learned how it's decided what fire gets which resources.
Not every fire is going to get everything that they want. It's just not possible.
And while resources were relocated every day, all the crews have the same goal: to put the fires out and save as many lives and structures as possible. Luckily, no homes were lost in the quarry fire, but families were forced to evacuate last week from the Deer Creek Mesa area and several subdivisions in the Ken Carroll area. For one family, what made it even more difficult was when someone stole some of the items they had saved after breaking into their truck. Karen Morfitt talked to them and found out some of those stolen items were priceless.
I filled the whole thing up, to the brim.
J.J. Hihon had no idea when he left his home where he would go or for how long. But when the evacuation call came, he knew there were some items he couldn't leave behind.
And I grabbed that because it meant a lot. And then they took that from us.
His wife Jasmine and sons Liam and Sebastian were away when the quarry fire first ignited, but they returned as it was exploding. Needing a place to stay, they landed on a hotel nearby.
Unloaded everything that we could, put everything we could in the hotel, everything else that we could inside the truck, and I left some items in the bed of the truck, covered with a tarp and strapped in.
It wasn't enough to stop thieves. The family lost a number of valuables, snowboards and boots, the first for these brothers.
It makes me really upset and angry.
Also gone are laptops and these golden concrete statues, worthless to anyone but this family.
They're not even that cute, but I've loved them since I was a little girl. And then when I went to clean out my grandparents' home after my grandfather passed away in March, I got to bring them home.
Priceless pieces of her family's history that she fears are gone forever.
Think about when you're evacuating and you have the potential to lose your home, the things that you choose to bring have value, whether it's of sentimental or financial. But for somebody to rob from an evacuee's truck, obviously these things meant something.
While they're frustrated and feeling defeated, they're sharing their story with hope that someone will see those items and bring them back.
This brings those irreplaceable items back to us. It would be really important for my wife and for our family, and to pass that down to the kids.
The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office has set up a way to donate directly to that family. We have more information on how you can help online at CBSColorado.com. Karen Morfitt covering Colorado First.
Those families are now back in their houses. Also topping our website this week, euthanasia at area animal shelters are up by double digits as thousands of Coloradans surrender their dogs. The National Canine Advocacy Group says the 6 largest shelters along the Front Range took in just more than 42,000 dogs last year and euthanized nearly 5,000 of them, a 24% increase over 2022. That's despite having no-kill policies. Many were adopted during COVID and never socialized. The longer they stay in a shelter, the worse the dog's mental state becomes, making them unsafe.
While they might have been adoptable and we might have tried to find them a home, the longer they wait here, the more difficult they are to find a home for.
The Dumb Friends League insists the shelter will not turn away any dog due to behavioral issues. The dogs they don't have room for have to go somewhere, and the Denver Animal Shelter says many end up here. And your reporter in the mountains, Spencer Wilson, has been on top of this story from the beginning, looking deeper into the issues we could face if we're not able to stop the invasive species of zebra mussels from entering our bodies of water. Colorado Parks and Wildlife confirmed a few locations on the western slope have been infected, and now they're testing other spots around our state. Spencer got in touch with Denver Water, who's in charge of the water coming out of a lot of our faucets and shower heads in the state, and they're as worried as Colorado Parks and Wildlife is about this issue. The big problem with zebra mussels is they reproduce asexually, and they attach themselves to just about anything in water, but they especially like enclosed spaces, so that's any pipe ever in water. The mussels will clog the pipe simply by growing inside of it, basically a version of pouring grease down your kitchen sink, but they're alive and multiply. Denver Water says if they infest Dillon Reservoir, the pipes that bring water to the Front Range underground are really hard to get to if they have to be cleared of mussels.
I don't believe we're too far gone. I don't think we're at that spot. But I can tell you this, that we really have to up our game as far as just watching everything that hits our waterways, and we need the public really to help.
For a more in-depth look at these stories and the rest of the news you may have missed this week, you can visit our website, cbscolorado.com.